button, it'll come on.
There you go.
You now become YouTube stars.
Oh, please. Oh, please don't do that.
Yeah.
We
There
don't,
is some in Stallings, however.
we don't need that. But yeah, we'll give Steve a little bit, maybe a few, 5 more minutes here and then we'll get started. It should not be, I'd say that, knocking on wood, it should not be a long meeting today. So, oh, man.
Yes. Oh, there we go.
Robert was at the meeting in Stallings, and we were like,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, well, maybe the new town hall.
it might be, there might be room to meet there,
August 1st.
because it's September.
Okay.
Late September, so even if you're a few weeks behind, there might be a meeting.
I thought she reached out to her right then. Okay. Yeah, that was an interesting allegation.
You giving Amanda some deserved time off here today? Is she?
Yeah, she's gonna be in multiple places at the same time. She's playing,
That's kind of hard to do.
yeah, she's playing Mr. Mom, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess we can separate it if Jeff doesn't know. He called me yesterday. and he said he was. Very nice.
And then he was off after that, he called me, and he was off.
So if we're looking for this, or telling people if they want to see it on YouTube, what do they type in the
It's on the Village of Marvin YouTube channel.
Village of Marvin YouTube channel?
They search us, they click our channel, it'll be on our live streams.
Okay. Okay.
And I think I have a folder on there as well for WUMA and Marvin.
Very good. Very good.
Because you're the only one who streams us so far.
Technology is awesome. When it works.
When it works. It's working more often lately.
Are y'all getting all that fancy new stuff with your
Oh,
new
it's
building?
super fancy. We're gonna be real YouTube stars there.
Awesome.
I may go viral. Yeah.
I did find that interesting. They were talking on the radio the other morning that, I don't know what company did the survey, but of all the streaming services that are out there, Netflix, Hulu, guess which one is the most viewed, I guess? Streaming services,
YouTube TV,
It's gotta be.
YouTube,
really, yeah.
they said was number one.
My kids are glued to YouTube 99.9% of the time. Seems like.
Everything presents.
You know, if my son's not playing video games,
Oh, you
he's
don't?
looking at stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
His idea of humor is much different than mine.
I can understand that.
But at 15, my
We don't do that much anymore,
idea
especially
of
not
humor
long.
was probably
Well, here, this is referring back to Summerfield, but I just texted Karen again, and she said, everything I'm finding says it's being finalized to be signed by the governor.
What is that?
The Summerfield de-annexation.
Okay.
So they did ram it through.
And that's,
So just remember, no matter what happens in your town, it's not as bad as some.
It's not as bad as Summerfield.
That's a good point.
yes.
And the municipality didn't want to provide it. They told their buddies in the General Assembly who de-annexed.
Well, I heard they resigned, didn't they?
They were the largest municipality in the state that was solely on well and septic, and they stuffed a 980-acre mixed-use development on this property. The state de-annexed them because they couldn't.
And this is in,
Outside of
Guilford County.
Northwestern.
All right, well,
So-
we're, It's about 4:05. I mean, Steve still may be able to be here, but I wanted to give him just a little bit of extra time in case he was in the traffic, but I think we need to go ahead and get started. I'd like to thank everybody for being here for the June Western Union Municipal Alliance meeting. We have all of our municipalities represented except Stallings, but we do have a quorum. And so if everybody's okay with the agenda, could I get a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, thank you very much. We got the agenda adopted. And then if you've had a chance, hopefully, to take a look over the minutes from April and May, if we can go ahead and get those approved so that Austin can get those posted up on the webpage. If everybody's good with those, if I could just get a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, that's done. All right, public comments. Anybody, public would like to please come forward and. Sure, no, and if you feel better
down and-
talking back there, either way, it doesn't, just tell us who you are and where you're
You know how
from.
the button works, Jill, so that we can hear you. There you
Please.
go.
Are we on? Okay. Jill Janes, Marvin. I attended, I think it was back in February, and Mr. Perryman, you had brought in a gentleman to talk about a cooperative grant for a traffic enforcement
ma'am.
officer.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I thought that was the best idea.
Okay.
So I haven't been able to get back to a meeting, so I'm just curious where that landed. Did you guys, because I
Where-
think that's
Where it
super
landed
important.
was that as a group, we did not, the WUMA did not proceed with that as a group. I know when I took it to Weddington, it was discussed, but, and that's a good segue, because some of my public comments, or my comments on the Camp Town stuff are gonna cover that. But basically, from what I was told, when we did a little more digging, it was a rather complicated process, and there was a quicker way to achieve the goal that we were looking for.
Okay,
And so I'll specifically address that when I get to Weddington.
okay. I thought that was brilliant. I
Yes,
was
ma'am.
glad to hear it. And it's more than needed. So,
ma'am.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciated that.
All right. All right, anybody else? All right, if not, we'll finish with the public comments. And now, here we go with delegate municipality reports. And we'll start over here with Rick in Mineral Springs.
Mine was easy because, let's see, I guess I was here last month, and again, we have not done much. We adopted our budget, as everybody here probably has done by now. Things have been very simple. We've had very short meetings. There's not been anything controversial or earth-shattering in Mineral Springs. We're kind of in that phase where we're moving along. So nothing important to report right now. Just glad to be getting through another month,
Okay,
and including a year.
very good.
We're gonna start July 1st, Monday.
Sounds
First
good.
fiscal year.
Have you got an update on the sidewalk project?
Okay, yeah, remember, we did talk about our sidewalk plan. I spoke with Jennifer at CRTPO last night, who is their grants person, and my biggest concern, and I had asked Will Snyder, who was like the planning engineer who had worked, he was like the point person on it. I asked him a month or so ago, I said, I understand this is a reimbursable grant, and therefore, even if we're gonna get a 30% match, let's say, and we put up 400,000, if it's a $1.6 million project, are we gonna have to lay out the 1.6 million, which we don't have? And he said, I don't know. He said, to talk to Jennifer. So I asked her about that, and she said, no, you will be able to get it done. The reimbursement, the outlay can be done on a month by month or an installment basis by the town, and you'll get a reimbursement back. We will be able to structure it so that it can work. Because if you think about it, I mean, some municipalities are looking, you guys, you're nodding, I see, Andy. Were any of yours DA grants from CRTPO?
I don't think, we did have, yeah, we have match grants, and we have had to do the outlay, but they are pretty good about turning their money around. they're pretty quick about reimbursing you, so.
And therefore, you're not, if you've got a $3 million roundabout, that your commitment is 600,000.
Oh, well,
Or whatever.
when it comes to road projects, though, we only pay like everybody else.
Everybody make sure you got your mics on
Yeah,
so we can.
we only pay our portion towards it, and the state,
Right.
CRTPO and the federal
yeah, that's-
monies pay for the rest of it. So we just put in our match for those large projects, and I don't know if the sidewalk project will be structured the same way.
It will be structured the same way, but, so I was just concerned that somebody's got to be paying the bills, we put our match in, but since the rest of the money is reimbursable, does the outlays first have to come from us? And Jennifer says, I guess it's a paper transaction, and we don't have to lay out the 1.6 million and then get back everything except our match. We're able to do it. So that had concerned me, but obviously, on big projects, many municipalities our size, the people who are going to be doing DA grants wouldn't necessarily be in a position to lay out a $3 or $4 or $5 million upfront road thing. It would kind of almost defeat the purpose of the.
It's kind of
the
tough
DA
sometimes, because we have done match grants where they're reimbursed to us, but we have to lay out the cash first, and then
But
we get.
not the full
Well,
construction cost, just your match.
No, actually, so for instance, if we got $1 million match grant for a specific project, we'd have to lay out that money first and then get reimbursed the 500,000 coming back to us, where our match would be 500,000.
Get reimbursed on your expenses.
Yeah, so and you have to show receipts to get the reimbursements, but there's two different types of those grants. So you've got, like the intersections that they do is one thing where you're just giving them a match. The others, you have to lay out the cash and get reimbursed for it.
Whether or not it's an STBG DA grant or whether it's a cooperative project on the STIP with NCDOT, I think those work differently from each other. Ours would be an STBG DA grant. So, anyhow, Jennifer assured us that it can be structured so that somebody who's poor, like Mineral Springs is, can make it work. So we are planning on when the funding, you heard that funding cycle opens in August, we're hoping to have that application ready. So there's a webinar, and I didn't look at the email yet to know when it is. Anybody who's interested in doing one should probably, maybe I'll send that webinar out.
Do we have
that
something
Jennifer's
already prepared
doing
for the next
on
cycle?
that application process.
We've got something in the works for the
So,
next cycle of CRTPO.
I'll send that out to this group.
Funding?
Just so.
That would be
That's
good.
due.
Good knowledge, for sure.
Coming up.
Yeah,
That would
because,
be
I
good.
didn't know such a thing existed, so I'm gonna be, attending that webinar, and then I'll go meet with
We had
her
something to prepare
and let my
for
board know that
funding
we're
for the
ready
next
to apply
cycle.
for the grant.
Okay.
So thanks for asking about that, David, because that was good information for us to be able to share.
Thank you, Rick.
You're welcome.
Sue, how's everybody in Waxhaw?
Everyone in Waxhaw is doing well. I'd like to say there's not much going on, but there's always something going on in Waxhaw. Jekyll and Hyde's is opening. July 12th is the big ribbon cutting, so hopefully everybody comes out. They've been waiting a long time to open. I hear it's beautiful in there. Town Hall, looks like it should be done around August 1st if the schedule stays the same. We're working on Parkway West and that Helms Exchange, and hopefully we can get that funded this year and started so that we can alleviate some traffic downtown. And that's it. There's so much going on. I could go on and on.
I understand. David, how's everybody in Wesley Chapel?
Wesley Chapel's good. We too approved and passed our budget. We will probably get booze, but we did increase the rate some. We went from 0.129 to 0.0165. So small increase, but we still would like to beat our chest and say that we're one of the lowest taxed municipalities in the county.
You are the lowest.
Yeah.
Doesn't levy an ad valorem tax, so no complaints should be forthcoming.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're still awaiting FEMA approval on the dam repairs. We did, I know. We did get an invitation to bid sent out to prospective companies for the repairs, and those are due back the middle part of August. Good news is we got some promising use from the developer of the commercial district, and we're anticipating the build out of that. Long time coming, and we're very excited about that. And one of the goals that we had discussions over the budget and approval, and also setting aside some of the funds for that is revamping of our ordinances. We're hoping that we can leave it better than we found it. Not that it was in a bad spot when we found it, but we always want to improve, and we're hoping that, a complete revamp and review of those will be welcomed.
Very good. Well, for Weddington, we had several things that were approved at the last council meeting. We finally got our updated land use plan approved that we have. It was noted, however, that the response rate for it was extremely low. It was somewhere between 2.5 and about 3.2% of the eligible voter age people in town. So any of the conclusions and things in there sort of have to be taken with that in mind, that as the gentleman from the mathematics department over at UNC, Charlotte, told me, said they cannot really be considered statistically valid if it's less than 5%. They're looking at a kind of a 5% as a minimum. We did get that approved. We also approved our budget at a 2.5 cent rate, and part of that was being thankful that the fire service has finally been now, all of the paperwork is done, everything's been consolidated, and the Wesley Chapel folks have now, gotten everything rolled back into the rest of the county, so they're not doing a separate budget with us every year. So we were very pleased that got approved by the county commissioners, and that was done. One other thing I'll note that we did approve for the budget was we set aside enough money to hire 2 additional deputies to give us 24-hour coverage. We, as a council, felt that this was worth doing because of some of the things we've been hearing from folks about when they go off at 11 before they come back on duty at 7, some of the vehicular stuff that's going on and et cetera. So we're in the process, since we had already passed the renewal of the contract that we have with the sheriff's department. We've got to go back now and just, I'm not the town attorney, but they do some sort of an additional addition to it or to accomplish that. Other things that we've got going on, probably the biggest development issue that we've got as a topic of discussion is this Deal Lake property. And in a nutshell, the folks, Toll Brothers, have not, they've had their initial community involvement meeting, which brought up a lot of questions about some things that they were proposing, but they have not come back with a final, hopefully they've taken the comments into consideration. But when I last spoke with Greg, our town planner, he said that they had not come back with a finalized plan yet. So we're waiting to see what that will entail. We also approved adding public comments to our planning board meetings. That was something the citizens had asked for, and we have done that. And the last thing I'll say is that Weddington is finally getting into the 21st century. As we, by our next council meeting, we should have our own internet streaming, new AV, new screens up in the room, so that we too can record and stream live. And then if you've got any questions about, well, what did that Perryman guy say, you can just Google it up and run the tape back and listen to it.
Good luck to you for the first couple of months while you get
So,
started.
but we're no, in all seriousness, we're very glad that we've got that coming. And I know our town administrator, Karen Dewey's been working hard on getting that set up. So, and that's the last I've got.
So with the 2 additional deputies, contract deputies, how many does that put Weddington?
5.
5.
Wow.
Because that's what, we were just gonna do 1, because we wanted to get 24-hour coverage, but in talking with Deputy Wren and with the Sheriff's Department folks, they said to get, because of like time off, vacations, and the shifts and the way they do stuff, we would have to have 2 additional to get that 24-hour coverage.
Like, y'all geographically are much larger than the rest of us,
Yeah.
so you have a lot of lot of ground to cover, so I can see where that could be a,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was the main concern, is that during that 11 PM to 7 AM timeframe, we're under that zone coverage, which I forget whether it's zone 4, I think zone 4 if memory serves, which covers, you talk about covering a lot of ground, yes, that, and that's what we were trying to hopefully have an answer for.
Very good. All right.
Andy.
Well, let's see, we also approved our budget. And with the rising costs, we did have to do an increase. And for the roundabouts that seem to be coming hot and heavy every couple of years, and getting more and more expensive, we had, we put a penny tax increase to be able to fund the Waxhaw Marvin Bonds Grove project, which is gonna cost us close, what, 800 and some odd $1,000 out of our pocket. And then we have, 2 more roundabouts on the tail of that, so, and then just general cost increases, we had to go up, so we went up 2 cents.
Okay.
So, up to 8 cents, still not anywhere near what a lot of other municipalities are, but, and we have roads to maintain, so that's, a good portion of our budget. So, we approved our, new development ordinance, that went through, so now we're much more organized and in better shape to, it's better for us, better for developers, better for everybody all the way around, because there's no gray areas. So, happy about that. We have a public involvement meeting tonight, actually, for a property in the Heritage District. If y'all know the old Crane store that's down here, they are getting ready to revitalize that building and make it into something. So, and they're working with Zepsa Properties, which has the house that they're turning into a restaurant, which is that little model back there. So excited for that little Crane store to be something finally. Been sitting there for a long time. Then we've got a couple of things going on as far as entertainment. We've got our stargazing event on July 12th at the park, and National Night Out, of course, is coming up in August. So.
Okay. One thing I will add regarding the deputies for traffic, what we found out and what we did was that it was quicker for us to go ahead and coordinate with Deputy Wren and the deputies that we had on staff so that they could get what they call focused traffic enforcement on certain days and certain times. And just to give you an example, they are doing it fairly frequently in Weddington between the Mecklenburg County line and down there where Ray Road comes in, which it goes from 45 to 35 and then back to 45. And as Deputy Wren told us at the last meeting, they were only pulling people in the 35 zone if they were doing over 50. And they pulled over 43 people, 43 individuals in an hour's time. And including one that, I forget, that he had some other kind of outstanding warrants or something. So as Deputy Wren said, he got to go down and visit at Sheriff Cathy's place of business. But to answer your question, that it's much quicker and more effective for us to tell the deputies, we want you to look on this stretch of road at this time, and since we're literally paying the freight, they are working for us, then they can coordinate that and get it done.
Well, I don't know how you got all that pull, because they tell us that we have no jurisdiction into telling them what they are supposed to do or not supposed to do.
We'll get together and I'll let you know, but they have done at least, I believe, 3 of those, and that one stretch is not the only stretch they've done it on. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, and he said they were only pulling them if they were doing over 50.
I know that stretch very well. I travel it, and I get run over every time I go 35
But the
through there.
interesting thing, every single time they've done that, what he has told us is it's not Weddington residents. It is normally South Carolina residents or somebody that's trying to get, avoid the 485 or whatever. That it's not the people that are living here It's people that are just trying to get someplace else.
Yeah,
So,
the same issues. It's people driving through the village.
but
It's
again,
not
that's
our-
why we elected not to pursue the grant. Item 6 is old business, which I really don't have any other than just to say I thought the CRTPO event went well. It was well attended, and we've been, seeing a lot of information about they do have that public involvement thing open now for folks to talk about, but thought that went well. And as far as the new business, we are not going to be meeting in July. For those that may be watching or listening for the first time, this group does not meet in July and December. We take those months off. But for the meetings that we have coming up for the remainder of the year, we've got the approved listing of the locations, and I can just kind of go over those real quick here. Mineral Springs will be in August. That will be August 22nd.
It's in the back of the meeting minutes.
In the back of the minutes. We'll have Weddington on September the 26th, and then Stallings, October the 24th. And then we've adjusted the date slightly for November in Wesley Chapel, and that'll be 21 November in Wesley Chapel. But what I wanted to kind of toss out to the group, I was thinking that it's probably about time that we invite Brian Matthews, our county manager, back out for a quick update on his report on how the county is doing on their projects and their things that they're looking for. And then secondly, I wanted to see y'all's, kind of get some feedback and see if you want me to pursue this of getting our Union County legislative delegation to come to a meeting to talk about the stuff that's been going on at the state level. Specifically, as we were talking before the meeting started, it appears that Somerville de-annexation has been approved by the state legislature and, excuse me, and is awaiting signature, excuse me, by the governor. And that is just one, of many things that I know we've all seen coming down that, where it seems the legislature's trying to take away or affect local zoning authority. So, any thoughts on those and if we're gonna do those, which months we want to try to do those in? The only other one that kind of came up, because I know because of some projects in Weddington, that's been a really hot topic, is water and sewer. And I don't know whether that is something that we could roll in with Brian Matthews in his presentation, or whether we want to have a separate presentation from the county, county public works folks for us on that. So basically, those would be the three things: county manager, legislative delegation, and then water and sewer. I mean, excuse me.
How long the presentation will be, Brian is actually pretty good. Brian is pretty good at communicating, and if it's gonna be water and sewer and Brian, with
Yeah.
maybe the chair of the commissioners.
Sure.
That could be handled at one meeting,
Okay.
I would hope.
I was kind of, tossing that back and forth, because I know he's done that before.
He has.
He's
and
given
it's
us an
been pretty-
update.
It's been pretty good, and we get pretty good updates from Brian.
Okay.
He's pretty good at communicating.
Yeah, but I know Brian spoke to us last, I believe, is either January or February.
Mineral Springs, so it's probably
And
February. Yeah,
so
he
it's
was there with
February.
J.R. Rao.
So it's February, and so again, this, twice a year, just getting those updates from him is usually some good information.
Just curious, while we're talking about the county, has Richard Helm's position been filled? I have not heard
I
a
do
thing.
not know.
Clancy Baucom was
Clancy
appointed to
Baucom?
fill that position, yes.
Okay.
And then that expires with the election, and he will be then pretty much he has no general opposition in November, so he'll go back to then the other seat. So he replaced Richard Helms' seat for that 5-month period, and then he's going to be running for the Stony Rushing seat, which J.R. Rao did not elect to run for.
Okay.
So that's where the county, but yeah, so they have 5 commissioners right now.
Okay.
And as he's getting his feet wet and being ready for his full 2-year stint, I guess is a good way to look at it.
All right, so if we're gonna have Brian come out, is there any particular, does it matter which month, or what do you think? And- Or maybe, and if I contact Brian, I can just say, hey, of these dates, which one would probably work best for you?
Yeah, I mean, I would think probably the sooner the better, because we haven't
Okay.
heard from them in some time. And I don't know, he might want to go see Waxaw's new town hall in the next meeting.
That's true, we've got to get Wax on the batting order here now.
Yeah.
No, they're in
I'm
the
sure we'll be
lineup,
seeing
so,
them around Waxaw.
and that's still 2 months away anyway.
Okay,
Because that wouldn't be until August, so,
All right, well, what I will do with Brian then is I can contact him
or September.
and just throw out some of the dates to him. See which ones, he is more, I guess, amenable to. And I'll also make sure that we would like more of a sort of an in-depth review of what the status of the water and the sewer. The funding projects, what they're looking at
Yeah.
coming down the road.
But back to your point though, Jeff, I think that alone is a conversation.
Yes.
I think that's a meeting in and of itself. I think there's other issues within the county that we'd like to have information from him on.
Okay.
But I think it'd probably
Well, let
be
me-
beneficial to us to have.
Well, David, I'm
Two
glad you
meetings.
said it. Let me put it this way. If I could, if I'm going to go ahead and tell him that we'll seek from him, a date that he says is going to work, and then specific topics. If each of y'all could, forward those to me, or if you want to send them straight to Brian, I mean, he's got his emails available there on the county webpage. But that way, we can kind of give him some of the topics that we want to see. And just for the seeing how it would go, let me also make a reach out to the Public Works folks and say, hey, we would like to have and again, all of these things that we're having with the county manager, and I mean, obviously, all the meetings are open to the public. But just like we did for CRTPO, for these big items, I want to make sure we're getting the word out so that we can get as, many of the folks here as we can. And if we need to move it to 7 o'clock, like we did for CRTPO, I think we probably need to consider doing that too.
Quick question, on your schedule here, I've been putting the dates on the website. Some of these aren't Thursdays, is that intentional?
Somewhat.
Some of these dates are not Thursdays, is that
The
intentional?
only date that shouldn't be a Thursday, it should be November, right?
You've got on here January 25th, but that is a Saturday.
That would
Ooh,
definitely be wrong.
I thought should be the 23rd.
23rd, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
that's-
think it should be 23.
Let me just check the rest of these dates with y'all, just to
Okay.
be sure.
Well, while you're doing that, as far as the legislative folks, obviously, I would like to wait until after the November elections, and then November the 21st might be a little too soon. We might have to push that one back to January, because that way it'll be after the holidays, because, again, with Thanksgiving, Christmas, right after the election, maybe that, if we maybe look at maybe doing that one in January of 25, we can work on that.
For the other meetings, March 25th is a Tuesday, was that intentional?
March the 25th. I had March the 27th written down.
Well, that's what it should be, and that's ours, so.
Okay.
Uh,
gonna have
May
to,
23rd is a Friday, is that supposed to be the
I had
22nd?
May 22nd written down.
Okay, and that's in Weddington.
Tuesday, June 24th is a Tuesday, that's supposed to be Thursday?
And 26th.
26th, let me check the rest of the 2024 dates, just to be sure.
That should take us through June 25, through a year from now.
Oh, boy.
It'll be here before you know it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know, all too well. Goes too quick.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Okay, everything else is Thursday.
Okay.
Good, thanks.
we'll have to
Well, I tell you
revise
what
the
then,
minutes.
I will reach out to Brian Matthews, and see which of the dates we've got coming up would work for him to do his presentation. I will reach out to Public Works and see how they respond as far as, when if any of those dates would be available. And then we'll plan on doing the legislative delegation, say, in January 25, after the holidays, after the election. Does that sound reasonable?
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, that's all the new business I had for today. So unless anybody's got anything else they want to bring up, we can finish on up here. All right, well, hearing none, we'll start at the other side here, Andy, and just finish up with delegate comments.
Well, really, the only thing I have is welcome back, Waxaw. New face, and glad to have you. And that's about all I've got for today.
And I'll ditto that, Sue. It's nice to see Waxhaw represented here. We're all neighbors in this neck of the woods, and I hope that y'all will feel like this is a benefit of getting together and kind of sharing information like we do. But other than that, I hope everybody has a good 4th of July, and we can get back together in August.
Echoing those same thoughts, welcome, and, we all learn from each other's experiences. Having those experiences only make us better. So we appreciate that, look forward to it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Part of our commitment when I ran was to get together with the local municipalities and come together as a group and try to affect some change locally, because we really can't control the state. And, it's hard to control anything else other than in our own neighborhood. So let's get together and let's help each other out, and we can learn from each other. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, ma'am. Rick?
The final welcome to Susanna, so we've all welcomed her officially. And a big thank you again to Austin and to Marvin for hosting, and Austin for being the first to get us streaming. And now we'll have Weddington joining that crowd soon.
I know.
But thanks to Marvin, I guess. I really wanted to extend that gratitude, and looking forward to a month off and seeing you all in Mineral Springs in August, with or without the county
That's right,
manager.
that's right. Well, Rick kind of stole my last thing of where I was going to thank Marvin for hosting and Austin for all that you're doing, but doesn't hurt to say it twice.
Absolutely.
So thank you for doing that. Thank you for the folks that showed up. Please tell your friends it's an open meeting, and hopefully, as I said, some of these other subjects we've got coming up, we can invite the public back, and if we've got to adjust the time to 7, we've proven we can do that, and get some more good information out to our folks. So with that said, if I've got a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. We'll see you in August.